I'm Ken Hughes. I'm a consumer and shopper behavioralist, which is a really big title. Simply says I understand consumers, how they shop, why they shop, and ultimately how we can make them buy more and deliver a retail proposition that makes sense to them as a new consumer. Satisfying 6 different sets of consumers has become one of the biggest challenges for any business or any industry. So you've got everything from a traditionalist baby boomer, a Gen X, a millennial, a Gen Z, and now the Alpha generation, born after 2010. Each of those have different value propositions, different ways they want to satisfy a need. And a business that tries to bring one product or service to market and ignores the fact that there's different pockets of needs is not going to last very long. So really we have to keep a finger on the pulse of what consumers want, and if you're really going to future-proof any business or industry, it's probably Gen Z that we need to look at to future-proof for the next 10 years. The millennials were the step change, they were the warm-up, and things went from analog to digital during their lives, whereas the Gen Z generation have been born into digital. They expect things to work first time every time, seamless, frictionless. So this is the reality that they now live in. So really if you're going to look for the next 10 years of success, firmly looking at Gen Z and what they want is probably the best way to do that. Personalization is probably one of the biggest value drivers today in retail, and it's one of the things that most retailers get very, very wrong. Again, treating a consumer like a transaction, not expecting them to kind of get value from many of them, quite a personality-less experience in retail. They have a very personal experience online. The system remembers them, prompts them to buy things that they otherwise might want based on what they've bought previously. Then they come into a physical retail environment and the retailer doesn't know who they are, doesn't know what they bought. Often you have a sales assistant trying to sell them something they already bought from the same brand last week online. It's real chaos. Investing in the systems back end, investing in the software and technology that allows you to ID a customer, know who they are, tailor your offering, tailor your communication. It's basically a hygiene factor at this stage. It used to be adding value 5 or 10 years ago. Today, knowing who the customer is, what they want, and being able to speak to them somehow in a conversation one-on-one, it's kind of what they expect. And in retail, we're actually a little bit behind the curve in getting to that place. So personalization is one of probably the biggest value drivers that any board need to be looking at in future-proofing the business for the next 5 years. So PACE is an acronym that I came up with that basically sums up 4 main value drivers for the new future consumer. It is personalization, to the importance of getting it right for the consumer. Authentic, so making a genuine, authentic experience that the customer feels valued, that feels real. Brands with purpose survive, brands with no story don't today. Contextual communication, the C in PACE, basically talking to a consumer at the right moment in the customer journey that brings the product or service to life for them, gives it context as opposed to just marketing noise. And then finally the experiential piece, the E, is about emotive engagement. Giving an experience to a customer means they have a story to tell to their peers, means they have a link to the brand that is somewhat emotive as opposed to a transaction. Put all those things together and you get a personalized, authentic, contextual experience. And that is pace, that is speed that we need as a brand to be able to pivot in this world of disruption. And without the speed to pivot, again, in 5 or 10 years, things will continuously change. As an industry in retail, we're going to be left behind unless we can have that ability to pivot.